walk down Park Avenue in New York City, you might pass a building that looks boring. No big flashing signs, no lines of people waiting to get in, just quiet. But inside that building, there is a computer system, and that computer system runs the world. I'm not exaggerating. It owns a piece of Apple. It owns a piece of Microsoft. It owns shares in the bank where you keep your savings. It might even own the house you are living in right now. This isn't the CIA. It's not the Federal Reserve. It is a company called BlackRock. And as I speak to you today, they manage over $10 trillion.
Let me put that number in simple terms. If you took every single dollar earned in Germany and added it to every dollar earned in Japan, BlackRock still has more money. They are the shadow bank of the global economy. But here is the strange part. BlackRock wasn't started by a genius billionaire who never failed. It was started by a guy who got fired, a guy who was humiliated. And his plan wasn't to get rich. His plan was to build a machine that could see the future.
Today, we are going to investigate the most powerful company in history. We are going to look at the financial data. We are going to look at the market manipulation accusations. And we are going to ask the big question. Does BlackRock control the world, or do they just own it? To understand the monster, we have to understand the man who built it. His name is Larry Fink. And in 1986, he was the king of Wall Street. He was young, he was smart, he was making millions of dollars for his bank, First Boston. He felt like he couldn't lose. But Wall Street has a rule. If you get arrogant, the market will humble you. And that is exactly what happened.
Larry made a bet. He bet that interest rates would stay the same. He was wrong. The rates changed, the market crashed. And in just a few weeks, Larry lost the bank $100 million. Imagine that feeling. One day you are the hero. Everyone wants to be your friend. The next day, nobody will look you in the eye. Larry was fired. His career was over. He went home and sat in his living room, trying to figure out what went wrong.
And he realized something important. He realized that everyone on Wall Street was just guessing. They were gambling with other people's money. They didn't actually know the risk. Larry decided he was done guessing. He wanted to calculate. He wanted to build a computer that could look at a bond or a stock or a mortgage and tell him exactly what would happen if the world changed. He didn't want a crystal ball. He wanted a calculator. So, in 1988, he started a tiny company in a one-room office. He called it BlackRock. But the real product wasn't the company. The real product was the computer. He called it Aladdin.
For 20 years, BlackRock was just a normal finance company. They were doing okay, but they weren't ruling the world yet. Larry Fink was quietly building Aladdin. He was feeding it data. Every day, the computer got smarter. It learned how the markets moved. Then came 2008, the global financial crisis. You remember this. Lehman Brothers collapsed. The housing market exploded. Banks that had been around for 100 years went bankrupt in a single weekend. Liquidity disappeared. The entire American economy was about to die. Before we move on, I have a quick question. Do you want to understand how money actually works? Most channels just read the news, but here, we investigate the corporate finance stories that Wall Street doesn't want you to know. Our goal is to make you the smartest person in the room. So if you want to see more investigations like this, hit that subscribe button right now. It helps us dig deeper into the data. Now, let's get back to the evidence. The US government was panicking. The Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve had billions of dollars in toxic assets. Bad loans, worthless mortgages,
But they had a problem. They didn't know which loans were bad and which ones were okay. Their computers weren't strong enough to figure it out. They needed help. They needed someone who understood risk management better than anyone else. So they picked up the phone and they called Larry Fink.
Think about how crazy that is. The United States government, the most powerful entity on Earth, had to ask a private company for help. They gave BlackRock the contract to clean up the mess. They gave Aladdin the keys to the economy. In that moment, BlackRock stopped being just a company. They became the fourth branch of government, and they never gave the power back.
This gives them a special kind of power. Because they manage the money, they get the voting rights for the shares. This means Larry Fink gets the vote on who sits on the board of Apple. He gets to vote on what Microsoft does. He gets to vote on ExxonMobil's oil strategy. They are the top shareholder in almost every major company in America. Coke and Pepsi, Ford and GM, Google and Facebook. It looks like there's a lot of competition, but when you look behind the curtain, BlackRock owns a chunk of all of them. It is the ultimate monopoly. But recently, they stopped looking at stocks, and they started looking at your neighborhood. This is the part that makes people angry. A few years ago, BlackRock and other private equity firms started buying houses. Not huge apartment buildings. I'm talking about single-family homes. The kind of house you want to buy to raise your kids. They came in with cash. They paid more than the asking price. Normal families couldn't compete. If you tried to buy a house, you weren't fighting against another family. You were fighting against a $10 trillion asset manager.
Why would they do this? Because Aladdin told them to. The computer saw that real estate was a safe place to park money against inflation. So they bought billions of dollars worth of homes. Critics say this is turning America into a renter nation. They say BlackRock wants to be your landlord. Larry Fink says they are just helping the market. But when rent prices go up and house prices skyrocket, it's hard to believe they are the good guys.
And then there is crypto. For years, Larry Fink hated Bitcoin. He called it an index of money laundering. He said it was dangerous. He said it was for criminals. But then something changed. Aladdin saw the data. The computer realized that people weren't going to stop buying Bitcoin. So what did BlackRock do? Did they keep fighting it? No, they decided to own it. In 2024, BlackRock launched their Bitcoin ETF. Almost overnight, they became one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world. Now, the same company that controls the banks controls the future of digital money. It was a masterclass in strategy. First, they ignore you, then they fight you, then they buy you.
So, where does this leave us? Is BlackRock an evil empire, or are they just doing their job? Larry Fink would tell you that he is protecting people's retirements. He would say that Aladdin makes the world safer because it stops banks from making stupid bets. And he might be right. The financial system is more stable today than it was in 2008. But there is a cost to that stability. The cost is freedom. We have created a system where one company has a seat at every table. They decide who gets money and who doesn't. They decide which companies survive and which ones die.
In the world of corporate finance, the golden rule is simple. He who has the gold makes the rules. And right now, BlackRock has all the gold. Thanks for watching.